Hello, Governor Okorocha.
Yes.
Well, sorry, we were having issues with the audio at your end, but I hope the phone won't disappoint this time around. But your feelings quickly about the declaration of election results, the governorship election result in your state, inconclusive by INEC.
Yes, the point I was making earlier is that this is not the first time that I'm having the experience of supplementary elections or inconclusiveness of elections. In 2011, probably I was the first governor to go through this. But the point is, this is an election that I've clearly won, and I see this as a time-wasting exercise because you can only change the you cannot change the burial itself. But be it as may, on the issue of the Electoral Act, I'm told that we have 144,000 voters in those areas that there was no election. But the difference between the person that came second is about 79,000. And our PPC collected. The PPC collected will be like far, far less than the number of registered voters. And in Imo State, we have about 1.8 million voters and only about 1.4 million PPC collected. And in the actual voting, less than 700,000 people voted in total. What that means is that if you look at this by simple analysis, you look at about 40% voting strength. And so if you look at that, there was no need for all this allocation and delay of the people's victory.
If we look at the numbers, Mr. Governor, the truth is that if for any reason your opponent manages to get more than the 79% that divides you and him now, which is technically possible, then you would not be the winner of this election. Under those sort of circumstances, INEC did the right thing, didn't they?
Well, going by the Electoral Act.
Yes, by law, if we agree that there's 144,000 potential voters, and the difference between you and the PDP candidate who is coming second at the moment is 79,000 votes or so, potentially he could actually win more votes than you, still.
Well, the point I'm making is, going by the Electoral Act, what INEC has done is absolutely right. But you know, the Electoral Act did not take into cognizance the issue of PPC collection, which is different from number of registered voters. Number of registered voters does not determine election now, but rather number of PPC collected. But all this does not really matter. I accept to go for the supplementary election or another election as quickly as possible. That would rather increase the margin between me and my opponent. That I can assure you. But I just see it as a time-wasting exercise.
Now, even though you say that you don't mind, it will be interesting to know, so as far as you know, of this 144,000 that we're talking about potential voters, how many PVCs have actually been collected, as far as you know?
Well, as of this time, I do not know. By tomorrow, INEC should make that record available. But I think it should be less than 100,000, if not more. And the turnout of this election is just less than 40%, give and take. So that's the point I'm making. And if that goes, if we go by that record, then we find out that this will just simply mean wasting resources to conduct another election. But if you're going by law, fine, I accept. And I have no issues with that.
Governor Okorocha, well, you're sounding confident at this moment that you are likely to win. So I'd like to ask you, are you totally satisfied with the conduct of the election by INEC, which you believe would lead up to your victory?
Well, this election is not too far from what happened during the presidential election. In the local government of the PDP candidate, we had the result that came in, just like the Rivers State presidential election result, where you had 61,000 voters for PDP and 4,000 for APC, while no other local government has up to 30,000 voters across the state, even those that have higher PVC collection than the APOP itself. So the whole APOP Eze, Ayazon are all written results. Mark of violence and all that. And one particular one of note is the one of Eze, where they brought 50-something thousand votes, more than the PVC collected. And then at INEC headquarters, they slashed it down to 20-something thousand votes. So everything about that area, my opponent gave himself, with the assistance of those who aided him, over 90,000 votes, or 80,000 from that area. But that didn't stop my victory because I won in almost all the local governments. So asking me whether the election was fair and fair, to the extent that results came without voters, I would say it was not fair and fair in those areas. But in other areas, actually, it was fair and fair election. But let me make this point clear. I'm ready for any election, anytime, any day, and I assure you that we shall come out victorious by the grace of God.
Mr. Governor, you seem prepared to sort of eat your cake and have it. On the one hand, you're talking about irregularities which you say mar these elections and therefore make them less than stellar. And then on the other hand, you're saying you are happy to accept a victory that has been handed to you as a result of this election. Seems like a bit of a contradiction.
Well, am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. Was it what I expected? No. Because it makes it look like the Imo people have not appreciated all the effort of rescue mission by making it look like I was in contest with anybody. But I'm happy for the fact that I've won the election. But I know that if the election was conducted properly, fair and fair, my opponent wouldn't have 100,000 votes.
Well, it's interesting that you believe that the elections were not properly conducted. Well, remember you also went through a rerun election back then, and you said you are prepared to go through another one. Now the question is, would you accept the result if you end up the loser in the rerun? Hello, Governor Okorocha.
Yes, please let me hear once more.
Okay, this will be the second time you are going through a rerun election. Would you accept the result if you end up losing?
Well, there's a lot of noise on your background from the studio.
All right, let me just make it very short. Would you accept the result if you end up losing in the rerun election?
But it almost sounds like an impossibility. Because even in the areas where the elections are cancelled, areas that I will easily take the day. So there's not even it's not something thinkable about losing the election now.
Now, how quickly would you like to see these elections take place if you could influence the timing?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, that quickly.